Special thanks to Anchor for distributing my podcast through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, and Castbox. With my podcast, we're going to be bringing you discussions and personal commentary on music, entertainment, celebrities, politics, love, health, and happiness. So do you want the tea? Well, simply talk with TURKBISH. Just talk with me.
I spend time and I spend energy and I spend effort and I spend everything I have, every fiber of my being to give people quality.
What's going on? What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to an all-new episode of Talk with TURKBISH. Today is Nicki Minaj's birthday, so y'all already know how I'm going to get down. But this first episode is not dedicated to the queen. The next one will be. I'm dropping 2 episodes today. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing Love and Marriage. And then I'm going to also be discussing Todrick Hall. So these are the videos that I recently posted on my YouTube. If you type in Talk with TURKBISH on YouTube, all of my content creative videos should pop up. So you guys go ahead and check that out. So this first recording of audio from YouTube is Love and Marriage. It's my review. So of course, each one of these videos, you're going to hear my intro and outro. So don't be alarmed when you hear that. That'll be the first thing that pops up. So I can't wait for you guys to check this out. And I will be back so that we can go in on Todrick Hall. And what you want. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Talk with TURKBISH. Today I am going to be bringing you some good tea about Love and Marriage Huntsville with our favorite black cast in Huntsville, Tennessee. But before I do that, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to this video, and hit that notification bell so that you will be the first to receive any new content that I upload on my YouTube channel. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, you guys. This was a great Part 1 reunion. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. It was very refreshing to see a cast actually sit down and talk about their issues without cussing each other out and fighting and things of that nature. So I'm glad to have been able to see that. Now, during this reunion, it was a very good surprise in the beginning. None other than Carlos King surprised them by letting them know, each and every one of them individually, that he was the host for this reunion. Now, Carlos goes on to explain that it had been 2 years since a reunion for the show, and that he thought that the only person that would be able to actually sit down and talk to them about their issues would be him, and he was meant for the job. And I honestly think that was a great idea for Carlos. I love that idea. It was amazing. So we were all on edge and we were excited. I was excited. Can't speak for you guys, but I know I was, and a lot of other people on social media was as well. Now, in the beginning, Carlos started out recapping all of the marriages from then to now. The first thing he started to talk about was social media's feedback. And Tisha, she said that she got off Twitter because of the blogs and gossip. And, you know, they talked about how that affected their mental health, emotional health. And shortly after that, we got right into Melody and Martell. He goes on to explain how Melody and Martell pitched the show. And I want you guys to see this first clip of Melody and Martell, how Carlos grilled them about their marriage. Check this out.
It got to a place where he was leaving the house.
During the pandemic?
During the pandemic, yes.
So wait. So while we were supposed to be sheltered in place and we had to stay home to keep our families safe, you were leaving the house during that time?
Yeah.
Where were you going?
To the gym.
Well, the gyms weren't open.
Well, my gym was.
Were other things open that you were going to see?
Carlos is tough, boy. Jesus Christ.
The entire world is scared because we don't know what this virus is going to do to us. And we see on the news 600,000 people in the US alone is dying from this unknown disease. Kimmy is working around the clock as a nurse, seeing people die in front of her. Your wife just had your baby. And to have your wife see her husband leave the house when everybody was told to stay. You know, I think a lot of people say of all the times to keep your penis in the household, you whipped it out in the middle of a pandemic in order to fulfill a need that seemed more important than your wife and your kids.
That I just had a baby.
Do you see how that could make her feel?
Okay, I'm with you. You made it sound so much worse, so I got it.
Well, no, I think, because I think, me saying that really puts into context like you are sleeping with the other woman.
No, I wasn't at the time, no.
How did she get pregnant?
Let's do the math.
Let's do the math. Go ahead. So when is your son's birthday?
I'm gonna keep that.
So when the pandemic happened and you saw your husband leave the house,
Yeah.
you figured out that he was seeing this other woman.
Leaving the
Woo, as y'all can see, hopefully we don't get a copyright strike. If we do, you just won't see the video. But Carlos brought the heat. He just did not hold back with the questions. The questions were the questions that we all as viewers wanted to know. Now, if you guys didn't know, Melody and Martell was the ones who pitched the show. And, you know, they talked about how it was to help jumpstart Melody's career. He had regret, and Melody said it was positive for her. Martell feels as if though he sacrificed, and Melody said that she feels like it was her husband's job and his duty to support her. Martell feels like he would still be married if it wasn't for the issues on the show. Now, Martell feels as if he is the most hated, but everybody disagreed with them in that moment and said Tisha and Marceau was the hated most on the group. And honestly, I can't really agree with that. The things that Martell have done really strike me as he's not a good man or he's not a good person. But, you know, it could just be how, you know, they're focusing in on him as a person and his marriage and his wrongdoings. Now, later on, Carlos goes into the trajectory of the show to address that and how it went from positive to arguments on the show within the cast. Maurice took to say, you know, he feels very disheartened and sad by people saying that the show went from sugar to shit, and the show was actually supposed to be about examples of success. So I can understand, you know, why they are having this conversation, because now they're actually realizing what fighting and things that they are actually dealing with can really make it look like to the public. We enjoy it as viewers, but of course to them, they don't like how they look when they look back at the show. Now, it's not too long until Carlos moves in to speak about Martell and Melody's relationship. They discuss the infidelity, the divorce toxicity between the two of them, the birth of Milani throughout the whole scandal, the last reunion when they were seen as Team Holt, as if nothing was wrong and they were working on their marriage, as well as the effects of the pandemic. Now, Carlos grills Martell about leaving the house, as you can see in the clip from earlier. He's asking him, you know, how do you think that made your wife feel, what she was going through? And I just think that it was very fair for Carlos to ask all of those questions. It needed to be asked, and he needed to understand his behavior and the effects of his behavior on Melody. And, you know, speaking about his behavior, we see them questioning him about him leaving home, the timeline, the verbiage about him cheating, telling Melody she should just get over it. Like, that's just wow. I to this day still can't believe he fixed his mouth to kind of tell Melody she has to deal with his behavior back then. That now lets me know that you didn't have no regard for your marriage. And now that you see Melody is actually moving on with her life, you're trying to bring her down. He also brought up the whole fellatio issue, about her giving somebody fellatio. And I just thought, why are you trying to degrade this woman on national television? But Melody did say that it was someone performing fellatio on her and not the other way around. So I thought it was good that she saved face. I don't know if she's lying, but I think it was a good thing that she actually saved face for herself. Now, Martell also had the nerve to try to accuse Marceau and Melody of having an affair. I just thought that was some bull crap. That was a load of crap. And, those two exchanged some words because Marceau wanted it to be known that that wasn't the intention. He was only trying to sit down and have dinner and drinks with Melody to kind of get to the bottom of you guys' issue. So I feel like, Martell, you really stepped out of bounds with that. That was really not right to try to even question that. I don't even think that would have even been a thought in either one of their heads. So that was really left field. Now, they also bring up the timeline about Melody and Martell's relationship. So December 2017, Mel moved out. January 2018, Mel met someone new. And I just think it's very fair for her to be able to move on with her life, even though she knows that, her ex-husband is probably not going to change. So, as you can see, Melody and Martell are just not together. They're on the rocks. But it's quite interesting. I also want to bring up another conversation about... Now, the conversation about Kimmy and Maurice came up because Marceau was speaking on it, allegedly, about how Maurice wasn't divorced before getting with Kimmy. They also showed a clip of Melody and Martell discussing it in the doctor's office. So everybody was having the conversations at the moment surrounding, them getting together and Maurice's divorce. Now, they go on to say how Kawawa, I can't even say her name, implied that Kimmy interfered with their marriage. Now, she's the baby mama. Now, here's the timeline for that. Maurice filed for divorce twice. Kawa avoided the service, and then she was served by the sheriff. 2 days later, he left and did in return to the house. So, as you can see, there's the story of their timeline, and it kind of makes sense. I understand if somebody's not being served with something, you can't officially be divorced legally, but you do have the right to move on with your life. You don't have to wait for those papers to be signed. So I feel like everybody was just making a big deal out of nothing. So now they have asked where they are now, and Kimmy and the baby mama have had conversations. They call it weird, but they still are trying to work through things as a family and trying to blend the family the best way that they can. So I'm glad to see that everybody is working their things out, working their issues out. We'll get to see more about Marceau and Letitia a little bit more on the next part reunion. They really focused in on the main two we wanted to talk about, which was the only Melody and Martell. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and we will be back for some more content. I will update you guys on part 2 of the reunion and give you a little bit of review from that. But this is all of the reviews and the notes from part 1 reunion. It was really thick. The tension was really thick, especially between Melody and Martell. I always enjoyed their story because, you can tell that there's still some love there. But like I said, do you want the tea? Talk with TURKBISH, just talk with me. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to get new content. Alright, you guys, I love you. Long time. Mwah. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to an all-new episode. Like I said, this first part of the episode is going to be dedicated to my YouTube videos that I posted, Love and Marriage, and the next segment is going to be about Todrick Hall. So you guys go ahead and listen to this clip, and I will be back right after. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to an all-new video of Talk with Turk. Today we are going to get into some things. I am excited about this episode because I am going to do some exposing. Yes, I am. So you got to stay locked. But the first thing I want you guys to do is like, comment, subscribe, and I would like for you to hit those notification bells at the top so you will be the first to receive any video that I upload to YouTube. Now today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Miss Todrick Hall. Now you know that she is a female impersonator, entertainer, dancer, producer, all of that great stuff. Yes, amazing as a artist. I would definitely commend him on that. But there's a lot of things that a lot of people are talking about right now when it comes to Miss Todrick Hall. Now let's get into some tea with Miss Todrick Hall, especially with some other co-parts like Manila Luzon and an ex-employee that used to work for him. Now there is speculation that Todrick Hall's house was broken into, and that just recently surfaced on social media. Now, a lot of people are saying that Todrick Hall definitely deserves this. They're saying that it could be someone that used to work for him and that someone that he didn't pay was upset and definitely decided to break in. Now, in the beginning, I want to definitely go ahead and show you this clip that he posted. But first I am going to show you a small clip of his house, a very short one, and then it'll go into the video that he posted in regards to someone breaking in. He does have video proof of this happening, but hey, I'm not sure. It's just a lot of things are adding up and it's just seeming a little funky. But first, like I said, here is a picture of his home. So get into the landscape, how everything looks. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. So here is the video that he posted that doesn't have sound of someone breaking in. Now, as you can see, right here is a picture of one of the culprits that he got a close shot on via camera. This is the outside of the house where someone broke in. This is the inside of the house where someone broke in. You can see they got him real good. And here's a picture of the bedroom. Not sure why he posted that. I don't see much damage in there right now. But in the bedroom closet, there is a lot of things missing. Look at all that stuff on the ground. Someone definitely got him for his goods. But hey, like I said, this is just coming all too soon. Now, I did my research on Miss Todrick Hall, and I wanted to make sure that I put all the facts that I have. I definitely researched very, very, very thoroughly so that I can definitely expose Todrick Hall and all of the things that have ever been said about him in his career. Now, they're definitely saying that he is a slight bit of a racist and that he does not pay his dancers or anybody that works on his team. Can you guys imagine that? Working very hard for something, especially in your career in the entertainment industry, and you do not pay people? And can you imagine how that person as an entertainer feels like, or a dancer, or a background singer, or whatever, not getting paid for their work, or anything that they're working hard for, especially if it's their dream, and if it's their passion. I don't know about you guys, but Todrick Hall would have to come see me. Now right here, I noticed that he also just released an album and tour dates. This is very funny that you wanted to bring light to the situation again about your break-in into your home right around the time that you're promoting an album and a tour. It just does not seem thorough and it does not seem genuine. Now, there has been somebody speaking out on Twitter in regards to Todrick. She said, a bunch of folks have asked about my experience working with Todrick, and I know it's no surprise, but just want to tell you all now, yes, your reservations about the fella are very valid. which is sad because he is talented indeed, but his talent is squandered by coonery. Baby is whitewashed to hell and miserably unprofessional. Also, he does not pay. I've done 2 videos for him now. The first one, nails, hair, hips, heels, was unpaid because he needed over 60 dancers and says he didn't have the budget to pay us. Then don't use the dancers. The fuck? That's logical. But I did it. Thought it would be a great opportunity. 3-day rehearsals and then a full day of shooting from 9 a.m. to about 9 p.m. in heels. No pay. Cool. So you can see she was cool. She said, I hate slavery. That's funny. The coon jumped out on set. A lot of black gays were standing behind him in a shot, and he turned to us to say, this is looking a little too chocolate. Can I get some lighter people behind me? Chow and one of his tour dancers, I looked eyes and made the same face. He boasted about how he dropped $60K on making this video, but the dancers saw none of it. Now at 20 million views on YouTube, we helped him create some of his best content ever. Monetized too, so I'm sure we generate an amount somewhere in the hundreds of thousands. He hit me up a few months later to be a part of that disastrous wig video. I politely declined, knowing there would be no pay. Then he said he would absolutely needed me for another video because he only wanted 2 dancers, like single ladies, and it will be paid. You're not Beyonce, Todrick. First of all, when we got on set for this video, me and the other dancer were the only black folk. Red flag. Then Todrick mentioned it being weird that it's the first time he had only black people in his video. I just kept my mouth shut. He doesn't seem to take criticism well at all. He reads virtually all the comments about him online. One time he told us the entire ballroom scene lit a fire up his ass, rightfully so, for using the whitewash term shablam instead of what actually is a dip. I hate when people try to change terms, especially in LGBTQ+. I was the only one who tried to explain that this is a culture that you know little of. It's been heavily appropriated by your main fan base, white gays. Black folk just trying to protect history, but he felt attacked and everyone around him pacified him, so he didn't care. Back to FAG after shooting. I left the set not knowing the amount I was to be paid or who even handles payment. No contracts were involved, just Todrick's word, which I trusted like a dumbass. Yeah, girl, you should have got money in hand first. I texted his assistant, dance captain, who's basically his personal Muppet. I've seen him literally order her to be silent, and she shut that mouth. She ignored me. Okay, cool, so I hit up Toddy himself. He responds, all fake, LOL, hey boo, oh my god, yes, do you know who to contact? Sounds like damage control to me. I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking. He never ever gives me account to info, then straight up stops responding. I reached out to both of them again about 3 more times via phone, text, and IG. No response. So I messaged the other dancer from the video who's now on tour with Todrick. He told me he got paid, honey. LOL, but didn't want to really talk about it because he didn't want to be in the middle. Then he apologized that this is happening to me. As you can see, other people getting paid, a lot of people not. I reached out to some of the previous dancers. All of them said they're not on good terms with him. He's apparently fucked over many people, fans included. Big yikes. So I take it to a few agencies asking to be represented for this job so I can get my coins, love. MSA couldn't help but advised me to threaten his ass with a lawsuit, LOL. But there was no paperwork. Go-To Talent really tried to find a way to help because they've seen this happen before. They also said Todrick typically avoids going through agencies for dancers. I wonder why. Because he don't have to pay y'all, sis. Block was key, honey. They straight up said Todrick is a fucking mess. LOL, they said his camp is just bad in general and they stay far away because of specific things like this. So it's been pushing a month now. No contact, no pay. I've been burned, but hey, at least I got a cute shout out, right? That will pay the bills. Excuse me, you guys. I'm a little tired. But you can see he posted a video explaining himself. A few takeaways here. Trust your gut. Don't support coons. Know your worth. Be vocal. Do not complete jobs without proper paperwork. He's maybe the 4th big artist to try me with this bullshit and definitely the first to succeed. Never again, though. I tell you that. Let me just add, my intentions here aren't to be messy, even though I knew mess would ensue. I have no reason to fabricate this shit. I do, however, feel responsible with the little platform I have to inform people of my experience so they know exactly what to be wary of. Also, the good folk who follow my fence to know I've been real vocal about this since it began. All of this is alleged, my word experience. Take it, do with what you do. I will appreciate the immense support. Protect yourself. And she goes on and on and on, as you can see in that Twitter thread. Now, she wasn't the only person that spoke out and was vocal about it. There were two other people. Miss Manila Luzon, the legendary and iconic drag race contestant and drag queen. We love you, Manila. And an ex-employee of his definitely spoke out about it, which was his assistant at the time. Now, in terms of Miss Manila, she definitely exposed Todrick a little bit, especially when that Twitter thread became very, very popular. She spoke out about working with Todrick, her relationship with Todrick, and she called him out on Twitter in regards to a party that they had did together that he still apparently and allegedly owed Miss Manila Luzon. Now take a look at this tweet. Well, you still owe me for hosting your Halloween party since last year. She tagged him very directly. And here's a picture of them together at that party. So there is a little bit of proof that, the party did exist. But like I said, Manila wasn't the only person that spoke out, honey. That's just one person in the entertainment industry that has already been very vocal about him. A lot of other people that, you can type in YouTube Todrick Hall beefs and, different things like that, different keywords that will lead you to a lot of people who have spoken out, or you can type in Todrick Hall scandal and it will come up. But like I said, there was another person, his ex-employee, his assistant, who spoke out as well. Now let's check his tweets. He tweeted over the weekend that he was Hall's personal assistant for years and knows every detail of his life, including deliberate non-payment to people, racism, sexual assault, sexual harassment, online bullying, exploitation, illegal business practicing, the list goes on. After Todrick became friends with Taylor Swift, he said to me, Taylor's assistant would not be wearing a fitted hat or Jordans. I need you to start looking more white because you look too ethnic and ghetto. Actual quote, and no hat rule went into effect. That is sad, man. This has definitely happened many times. He deliberately cast dancers based sometimes solely on their race. It's disgusting. And he will pay certain dancers secretly, and it will be an unpaid gig for most. And don't come for me because it's something Todrick did and not me. He also posted a link to the sexual harassment lawsuit that Todrick settled this year. He witnessed the allegations. He's been seeing him sexually assault more. Unfortunately, he's a predator, and more will come out. He has threatened me severely for my silence, but it needs to be stopped. And the ex-assistant also posted this affidavit right here, you guys. We're explaining the lawsuit, the sexual harassment violation, retaliation, wrongful termination, failure to pay, breach of contract, and the list goes on. I don't know about you guys, but Miss Todrick Hall does not sound like a genuine person. She sounds like this is all just a marketing ploy to sell an album and to sell tickets for a tour. I can't say that word because I might get blocked on YouTube. I was going to say a nasty word about her. But you guys get my drift. Now, I don't know about you guys, but what do you guys think about Miss Todrick Hall? I want you guys to comment below and let me know the real truth of how you feel. What do you think this is? Do you think that he was robbed because it's based off of karma, or he's just not a genuine person? Let me know below. And once again, do you want the tea? Well, simply talk with TURKBISH. Just talk with me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am back now. This is going to be the end of this first episode for today. My next episode is dedicated to the Queen. I'm going to try to do a live recording of that episode, and hopefully we can get some barbs on the line to talk about Nikki, to celebrate Nikki with me. If not, I'll celebrate her by my damn self. Y'all already know how I give it up. So shout out to the queen once again, Nicki Minaj. We love you. We know that you are in court currently, and the live recording on Zoom is going on right now, and things are looking good in your favor. So of course this will be a great birthday present, queen. So once again, do you want the tea? We'll simply talk with TURKBISH. Just talk with me.